The quantum interference patterns on Dr. Maya Rivera's monitor shouldn't have been possible. She double-checked the readouts from her remote mountain observatory, tucked away in Chile's Atacama Desert, but the numbers remained stubbornly impossible. The quantum entanglement signatures were off the charts, suggesting a level of technology far beyond anything currently known to science. Maya pushed away from her desk, the ancient chair creaking in protest. Through the observatory's reinforced windows, the stark desert landscape stretched endlessly under a canvas of stars. The facility had been chosen for its isolation, perfect for sensitive quantum experiments. But tonight, that isolation felt different. Heavier. A flash of light caught her attention. At first, she dismissed it as a meteor, but its trajectory was wrong. It moved too deliberately, too controlled, until suddenly it wasn't controlled at all. The object spiraled downward, trailing plasma and debris, before disappearing behind a nearby ridge. Maya's heart raced. Training and protocol dictated she should contact authorities immediately. Instead, she grabbed her emergency kit and a portable quantum scanner. Record all incoming data, she commanded the lab systems. Full spectrum analysis. The drive to the crash site took 20 minutes along treacherous mountain roads. Her old Jeep protested every bump and turn, but Maya pressed on. The quantum scanner's readings grew stronger with each passing kilometer, pulsing with patterns that defied conventional physics. When she crested the final ridge, Maya's breath caught in her throat. The crash site glowed with an ethereal blue light. Scattered across the rocky ground were fragments of a material she'd never seen before, a metal that seemed to shift and flow like liquid even as it held its shape. But it was the vessel itself that demanded attention. Despite the crash, its form remained largely intact, sleek, organic curves that suggested it had been grown rather than built. A warning tone from her scanner broke the spell. The quantum signatures were becoming unstable. Maya approached cautiously, her boots crunching on crystalline debris. A gap in the hull's surface rippled like disturbed water, leading to the ship's interior. "Hello," she called out, immediately feeling foolish. If anyone had survived, they wouldn't understand Earth languages. But then she heard it, a sound like crystals chiming against each other, followed by movement in the shadows. Maya's flashlight beam revealed a figure slumped against a console of flowing light. They were humanoid but clearly not human, tall and elegant, with skin that shimmered like opal and geometric patterns that pulsed beneath its surface. The being's eyes opened, revealing irises that swirled with galaxies. "I'm here to help," Maya said softly, holding up empty hands. The being tried to speak, but only managed a series of musical tones before slumping forward. Maya rushed to catch them, surprised by how light they felt despite their tall frame. Her scanner began screaming. The quantum field around the ship was collapsing, threatening to take the vessel and everything nearby with it. Maya made a split-second decision. With strength born of desperation, she half-carried, half-dragged the alien clear of the wreck. They reached her jeep just as the ship imploded, folding in on itself until nothing remained but a crater of crystallized sand. The alien stirred weakly in the back seat as Maya sped back toward her observatory. "Stay with me," she murmured, though she knew they couldn't understand. "Just stay with me." Back at the observatory, Maya converted her small medical bay into a makeshift alien intensive care unit. Her visitor drifted in and out of consciousness as she worked to stabilize them, noting with fascination how their biological systems seemed to operate on quantum principles rather than purely chemical ones. Hours passed. Maya documented everything she could, knowing that this moment, this first contact, would change everything. But as dawn approached, something unexpected happened. The alien's eyes opened fully, and they spoke, in perfect English. "Where, who?" They touched their head, wincing. I can't remember." Maya stared, stunned not just by their ability to speak her language, but by the implications of their words. "You don't remember anything? Your name? Where you're from?" The alien's expression shifted to one of distress. "No. Nothing. Only darkness, and then, you." Before Maya could respond, every piece of electronic equipment in the observatory began to malfunction. Through the windows, lights appeared in the sky, more ships, but these moved with aggressive purpose. Maya looked at her patient, seeing her own fear reflected in those cosmic eyes. She had a choice to make, and only seconds to make it. Everything she'd worked for, everything she believed in, hung in the balance. But really, there was no choice at all. "We need to go," she said, already gathering essential supplies. "Now." The abandoned mining tunnel wasn't anyone's idea of a safe house, but it had one crucial advantage: its walls were laced with rare earth minerals that played havoc with scanning equipment. Maya watched as her alien companion traced geometric patterns in the dust, their fingertip leaving faintly luminescent trails. "Echo," they said suddenly, breaking the silence that had fallen between them since their narrow escape from the observatory. Maya looked up from her jury-rigged quantum scanner. "What? You need something to call me. Since I cannot remember my name." They paused, watching the luminescent patterns fade. "Echo seems appropriate. An echo of who I once was." 3 days had passed since they'd fled the observatory. 3 days of staying ahead of both government vehicles and the mysterious ships that kept appearing in the night sky. The aliens' facility with English had only grown stronger, though they still had no memory of their past. "Echo," Maya tested the name. "It fits. But I still don't understand how you can speak our language so perfectly." Echo's iridescent skin shifted colors slightly, something Maya had noticed happened when they were processing complex thoughts. "I believe it's connected to these." They touched the geometric patterns beneath their skin. They appear to be some kind of biotechnological implants. "They're translating automatically, but I can't access their other functions." Maya's scanner beeped, drawing her attention. The quantum fluctuations were getting stronger again. "They're still searching. We need to dash." Echo suddenly gasped, their entire body going rigid. The patterns beneath their skin flared with brilliant light, and their eyes widened as if seeing something far beyond the tunnel walls. "Echo? What's wrong?" I saw something. A memory, perhaps." Their voice trembled. "A great chamber filled with beings like me. We were peacekeepers. Guardians of something vital." Maya moved closer, her scientific curiosity warring with concern for her friend. "What were you guarding?" "I don't dash." Echo's words cut off as another wave of memory hit them. Their skin flickered through a spectrum of colors before settling on a deep, troubled purple. "There was a division among us. Some believed we should intervene, others that we should remain neutral. There was fighting." The scanner's beeping became more urgent. Maya checked the readings and felt her blood run cold. "Echo, something's coming. Something big." Echo stood, their movements liquid smooth despite their distress. "We cannot be found. Not yet. Not until I remember why I came here." A low rumble shook dust from the tunnel ceiling. Maya quickly gathered their meager supplies, but Echo caught her arm. "Wait," they said. "There's something else. Something about your work with quantum entanglement. It's important, but I can't." They pressed their other hand to their temple in frustration. "My research? But how could you know about Dash?" The rumbling grew stronger. A beam of light swept past the tunnel entrance, far too focused to be natural. "Maya." Echo's voice was urgent now. "Your quantum scanner. You've been using it to monitor the search parties, yes?" She nodded. "It picks up their energy signatures. Anything using advanced technology creates quantum disturbances that dash. Can you reverse it? Make it emit quantum signals instead of just receiving them?" Maya's eyes widened as she understood. "Create a false trail. But the power requirements would be massive." Echo's skin began to glow softly. "I can provide the power. The implants, they're designed to interface with quantum systems." Another sweep of the searchlight, closer now. Maya quickly reconfigured her scanner, hands flying over its exposed circuits. Science had always been her refuge, the one place she felt in complete control. But nothing in her years of research had prepared her for interfacing human technology with alien biotechnology. "Ready," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "But Echo, we don't know what this might do to you." Echo's expression softened. "You saved my life, Maya. You've protected me, even though I'm a stranger to your world. Trust me now." Before she could respond, Echo pressed their hand to the scanner. The effect was immediate and stunning. Quantum energy cascaded through the device, overloading its displays. Maya's hair stood on end as the air itself seemed to vibrate with possibility. Outside, the searchlights suddenly swung away, chasing phantom signals in multiple directions. Echo swayed but remained standing, their skin pulsing with exertion. "It worked," Maya breathed. "But how did you know?" "Because," Echo said quietly, "I'm remembering more now. And I believe I didn't crash here by accident. I chose to come here. To find you." Maya stared at them. "Me? Why?" Echo's response was cut off by another memory surge. This time when they looked at Maya, their galaxy-filled eyes were wide with fear. "Because something is coming. Something that will change both our worlds forever. And your quantum research may be the key to stopping it." In the distance, sirens began to wail, and new lights appeared in the sky above. Their respite would be brief, but in that moment, Maya knew with certainty that her life's work had been leading to this, to helping Echo uncover the truth that lay buried in their lost memories. She just hoped they would live long enough to find it. The abandoned quantum research facility in the Andes wasn't just Maya's backup plan, it was her last resort. Ancient servers hummed to life as she restored power to the underground complex, their aging processors struggling to handle the calculations she needed to perform. "Your civilization's quantum technology is primitive," Echo observed, watching her work. "But innovative. You've approached the problem from angles we never considered." Maya glanced up from the server bank. In the harsh fluorescent light, Echo's skin shimmered like oil on water, their implants pulsing with subtle patterns she was beginning to recognize as emotional indicators. Right now, they showed curiosity tinged with concern. "You remember more about your people's technology?" she asked, trying to keep her voice casual despite her scientific excitement. "Fragments." Echo traced a finger along one of the server cables. Where their skin made contact, the cable's insulation briefly turned transparent, revealing the flowing data within. "We learned to merge biological and quantum systems ages ago. But we became dependent on them. Perhaps too dependent." A warning light flashed on Maya's console. She quickly typed in a correction, stabilizing the power flow. "Is that why your memories were erased? To protect your quantum technology from falling into the wrong hands?" Echo's expression darkened. "No. I'm beginning to think my memories were taken because they prove something. Something that certain factions among my people don't want known." Before Maya could press further, her security system pinged. Someone had entered the facility's outer perimeter. Multiple someones. "They found us," she muttered, pulling up the surveillance feeds. But instead of the government team she expected to see, the screens showed figures in sleek environmental suits that seemed to bend light around them. Echo's skin paled to an almost translucent white. "The Sentinels. They're here. Your people." "No." Echo's voice was tight with fear. "The ones who caused the division among us. The ones who believe that emerging quantum-capable species should be contained." Maya's blood ran cold as she watched the figures methodically sweep through the facility's upper levels. Their movements were too precise, too coordinated to be human. "They're here for you. For both of us." Echo moved to the main quantum interface, their implants glowing brighter. "Your research into quantum consciousness, it proves that technological advancement and biological evolution can occur naturally, without outside interference. This threatens their entire worldview. The security system pinged again. The Sentinels had breached the second level. Echo, what aren't you telling me? Their galaxy-filled eyes met hers. I was part of them once. A Sentinel. Until I discovered the truth, that they'd been manipulating species across the galaxy, steering their development to fit their ideology. When I tried to expose them. Echo's voice trailed off as another memory surfaced. The crash wasn't an accident. It was the only way I could escape and preserve the evidence. A crash from above made them both jump. The Sentinels were getting closer. The evidence, Maya said, her mind racing. It's in your quantum implants, isn't it? That's why they erased your memories instead of just killing you. They needed to verify that the evidence was gone. Echo nodded. But they didn't account for you. Your quantum research, it's not just similar to our technology, it's an entirely new approach. One they never anticipated. Maya's fingers flew across the keyboard as she initiated emergency protocols. The interface you used with my scanner in the tunnel. If we replicated that on a larger scale, we could use your facility's quantum network to access my blocked memories. Echo's skin began to pulse with increasing intensity. But Maya, the power requirements would be enormous. It could overload the entire system. Another crash, closer now. Maya made her decision. Better to risk overload than let them win. She began the startup sequence for the facility's experimental quantum core. Besides, I've spent my whole career being told my theories were impossible. Let's prove them wrong one more time. Echo's expression shifted to something almost like a smile. You humans never cease to amaze me. Your ability to face impossible odds with such determination. Yeah, well, Maya said, finalizing the startup sequence, someone very wise once told me that impossible is just another word for, hasn't been done yet. The facility's lights flickered as power was diverted to the quantum core. On the security feeds, the Sentinels paused, obviously detecting the energy buildup. Maya watched as Echo approached the central interface panel, their implants now blazing with internal light. Ready? She asked, her hand hovering over the final activation switch. Echo placed their hand on the interface. Maya, if this doesn't work, it'll work. She met their gaze steadily. Trust me. The Sentinels burst through the laboratory door just as Maya threw the switch. Energy surged through the quantum network, connecting human technology and alien biology in ways never before attempted. Echo's body arched as their implants flared with blinding intensity. And then the memories began to return. The truth, when it finally emerged, would change everything, not just for Maya and Echo, but for every quantum-capable species in the galaxy. Assuming, of course, they survived the next few minutes. Time seemed to stop in the quantum research facility as waves of energy pulsed through Echo's body. The Sentinels stood frozen in the doorway, their light-bending suits flickering with interference from the massive quantum surge. Maya's makeshift interface groaned under the strain, but she held steady at the controls, watching as Echo's memories cascaded back into place. I see it, Echo gasped, their voice resonating with newfound power. I see everything. The memories unfolded like a cosmic tapestry. Echo's implants projected quantum holograms into the air around them, showing scenes from across the galaxy. Maya watched in awe as the truth revealed itself. The Sentinels weren't just peacekeepers, they were architects of evolution itself. For millennia, they had guided species toward quantum consciousness, but always under strict control. Any civilization that developed quantum capabilities naturally was deemed a threat to their grand design. Earth was never supposed to achieve quantum consciousness on its own, Echo said, their eyes blazing with restored knowledge. Your research, Maya, it proves that multiple paths to quantum enlightenment exist. The Sentinel's entire system of control is based on a lie. The lead Sentinel stepped forward, their suit rippling like dark water. When they spoke, their voice seemed to bypass sound entirely, materializing directly in Maya's mind. "You do not understand the chaos you will unleash," they projected. "Natural quantum evolution is unpredictable, dangerous. We bring order. You bring stagnation," Echo countered. "I've seen the truth in my restored memories. You're not protecting the galaxy, you're limiting it. Forcing every species to develop along the same narrow path." Maya's quantum core warning light began flashing red. The power drain was becoming critical. "Echo, whatever you're going to do with these memories, do it fast. The system can't take much more." Echo nodded, their implants pulsing with determination. They raised their hands, and the quantum holograms coalesced into a single stream of data, proof of the Sentinel's manipulation, ready to be broadcast across every quantum frequency in the galaxy. The lead Sentinel raised a weapon that seemed to bend reality around its barrel. "You will not destroy eons of careful guidance. The natural quantum evolution must be contained." "That's your fundamental error," Maya said, her fingers dancing across the controls as she worked to maintain power. "You can't contain evolution. It's not about control, it's about potential." She met Echo's eyes across the lab, and in that moment, they both knew what had to be done. Echo had crashed on Earth for a reason. Of all the quantum-capable species in the galaxy, humans were perhaps the only ones stubborn enough, creative enough, to challenge the Sentinel's authority. "Maya," Echo called out, their voice urgent. "Your quantum equations, the ones about consciousness transference. They weren't just theories, were they?" She shook her head, already understanding where this was going. "Tested them last year. Everyone said it was impossible, but then it's time to prove them wrong again." Echo's implants began to pulse with a new pattern, one that matched the frequency of Maya's quantum core perfectly. The lead Sentinel must have realized what they were planning. They fired their reality-warping weapon, but the shot dissipated in the quantum field now surrounding Echo and Maya. What happened next would be debated by both humans and aliens for generations to come. Echo's consciousness, enhanced by restored memories and advanced quantum technology, merged with Maya's experimental quantum network. Their combined understanding, alien precision and human creativity, created something entirely new. The quantum core exploded with light as every piece of data in Echo's memories transferred into the system. Not just the evidence of the Sentinel's manipulation, but the accumulated knowledge of countless civilizations, free for all species to access and learn from. The Sentinel suits began to malfunction as their carefully controlled quantum technology encountered chaos theory for the first time. The lead Sentinel staggered back, their mental voice filled with disbelief. "What have you done?" Maya smiled grimly as she initiated the final sequence. "We're evolving. Natural, uncontrolled, beautiful evolution. And you can't stop it." Echo's physical form began to dissolve into pure quantum energy, merging with the facility's networks. Their voice echoed through the chamber one last time. "Maya, it's time. Are you ready?" She looked at her life's work, at the advancing Sentinels, at the quantum readings that showed ships appearing in orbit, not just Sentinel vessels, but ships from dozens of species, drawn by the unprecedented quantum surge. "Ready," she said, and pressed the final button. The quantum core went critical, but not in the way anyone expected. As Maya's consciousness merged with Echo's in the quantum network, the true revolution began, one that would shatter the Sentinel's control and usher in a new age of natural quantum evolution across the galaxy. The only question was, what would emerge from the other side? The quantum realm defied description. Maya's consciousness floated in an ocean of pure possibility, merged with Echo's essence in ways that transcended physical understanding. Through their combined awareness, they could sense the entire galaxy, countless civilizations on the brink of quantum awakening, held back by the Sentinel's artificial constraints. It's beautiful, Maya's thoughts resonated through the quantum field. All these different paths to evolution, all these unique approaches to consciousness. Echo's presence swirled around her, their merged knowledge creating patterns of unprecedented complexity. And each one valuable. Each one necessary for the full spectrum of quantum existence. Above the facility, the gathered ships hung in orbit like a string of luminous pearls. Through their quantum-enhanced perception, Maya and Echo could sense the confusion and wonder emanating from the various species as they witnessed something unprecedented, a natural quantum awakening, unrestricted by Sentinel protocols. The Sentinels themselves remained in the facility below, their carefully regulated quantum technology overwhelmed by the chaos of natural evolution. But they weren't defeated, not yet. You cannot maintain this state, the lead Sentinel projected into the quantum field. Uncontrolled quantum evolution will lead to devastation. We have seen it before. Memories flashed through the quantum space, ancient civilizations that had destroyed themselves with unchecked power, quantum wars that had torn reality itself. The Sentinels' fear was genuine, their desire for control born from a desperate need to prevent such catastrophes. But Maya and Echo saw something else in the quantum flow, the potential for growth, for change, for something entirely new. You're right, Echo communicated. Uncontrolled power is dangerous. But complete control is just another form of destruction. There's a middle path. Through their merged consciousness, Maya and Echo began to weave a new quantum framework. Not the rigid structure of the Sentinels, but something organic, adaptive. A network that would allow species to develop naturally while providing guidance and support. Look, Maya projected, directing their shared awareness to Earth. Humans discovered quantum mechanics through scientific inquiry. The Astari, she indicated a species in a nearby system, achieved it through spiritual enlightenment. The Nexus Collective, another distant civilization, evolved it through collective consciousness. Different paths, Echo added, all leading to the same ultimate truth. The universe isn't meant to follow a single pattern. The quantum field rippled with reaction as other species began to understand. Ships in orbit started transmitting their own quantum signatures, adding their unique perspectives to the growing network. But the Sentinels made one final attempt. Their quantum weapons powered up, designed to sever the connection and reimpose their order. The lead Sentinel's consciousness pressed against Maya and Echo's merged awareness. If you do this, there will be chaos. War. Destruction. There might be, Maya acknowledged. That's the price of freedom. But there will also be creation. Innovation. Hope. Echo's essence pulsed with agreement. We're not destroying your system. We're evolving it. Join us. Help us guide rather than control. A moment of tension filled the quantum realm as the Sentinels faced their choice. Centuries of rigid order versus the uncertainty of natural evolution. The quantum weapons hummed, ready to fire. Then, slowly, the lead Sentinel lowered their weapon. Their quantum signature changed, adapting to the new frequency Maya and Echo had created. Perhaps, they communicated, it is time for the Guardians to evolve as well. The transformation that followed was beyond anything either Maya or Echo had imagined. The quantum network expanded, incorporating elements of Sentinel technology while maintaining the freedom of natural development. Each species would find its own path to quantum consciousness, but none would have to walk that path alone. As the new framework stabilized, Maya and Echo faced their own decision. They could remain in their merged quantum state, existing as pure consciousness in the network they had created. Or they could return to physical form, accepting the limitations of corporeal existence. We could see everything, Echo mused. Be everywhere. True, Maya responded. But then who would help the next civilization discover their own way? Sometimes the best view isn't from above, it's from right beside someone as they take their first steps. Their merged consciousness smiled with shared understanding. Slowly, carefully, they began to separate, maintaining a connection but returning to their individual forms. The quantum energy coalesced, reconstructing their physical bodies in the facility below. Maya gasped as she reopened her human eyes, her consciousness once again bounded by flesh and bone. Beside her, Echo's form shimmered back into existence, their implants now pulsing with a new pattern, one that symbolized freedom rather than control. The Sentinels had transformed as well, their suits now transparent, showing the beings within. No longer hidden, no longer separate, but part of the greater whole they had helped create. Outside, the sun was rising over the Andes. Maya could still feel the quantum network humming around them, but now it felt natural, like the beating of a heart or the spinning of atoms. Echo touched her hand, their skin cool and real against hers. "What now?" Maya asked. Echo looked up at the sky, where ships were already departing to spread the news across the galaxy. Their eyes, still swirling with cosmic light, held a new warmth. "Now," they said, "we get to do the most exciting part. We get to watch what happens next." The quantum network pulsed with possibility as a new age began, not just for humanity, not just for the Sentinels, but for all species ready to take their next step in cosmic evolution. And somewhere in the vast quantum dance of consciousness and creation, two beings who had dared to challenge the established order watched with pride as the galaxy learned to grow in its own beautiful, chaotic way.